Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to make an internet transfer system. That is not anything that we can do on the blockchain. The transfer system is totally based on the database. Something like, think about it. A user want to transfer his balance to another user. We're going to do this on our Telegram mini app. So as you can see, practically, I have a design where I have some button like send, receive, history, and more. Currently, if I click that receive, I'm get a pay ID. That is one kind of my Telegram ID. I can copy that, and once I copy that, if I click on receive, that model will be closed. Now if I send, then nothing happened. So I have made the send model also. Let me connect that. So for connecting that, I like to use here use state. So I just copy above use state and just change the variable. That is sent. That is the variable and send, set send. Now they have something like receive and send. So if I just copy that props, nothing more. Basically I don't want to write that once again since I have already that. So I just need to cut that ID and also this ID. Now I need to pass that is sent and set send. So is okay, I'm not change the variable. I'm not change variable on the send file, so that should be something like this send. Okay, great. Now what I need to do, I need to pass here is sent, is sent, then set sent is set sent. Great. Now I want when user click here, then that is sent is will call. Then if the user close outside of the model, then that should be close. So for this I just set here set false. Okay, nothing more. Now see that closely. If I click on the send, you can see nothing happening. Why nothing happening here? Because I am not add any on click on the send. Yeah, you can see here. So I just need to copy this one and paste here. Set send. Well, now if I click here, you can see there have a from where user need to type here the pay ID, amount of the currency, and once the user click send, then what happens? Let me show you. Suppose the pay ID is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and amount is 1100. Okay, now if I click send, you can see I am get the value here. So for getting the value or capturing the value, I use here use from hook. You can see here use hook from this one. So now here I need to make the API or the database operation. So for server, we are used here something like MongoDB, Express, and Node.js. So I have already a dedicated server. So here I need to make the system. First of all, I will transfer that FB balance to another user account. So, and for checking that is that transfer is successful, or for what checking everything, here I make a model. Yeah, here I make a model for tracking L history. So the model should be transfer. Okay, transfer history. That is the model. I just create a file here. I just make another file that is transfer history model.ts. Now I just first of all I need to create an interface, export interface, transfer history. That is the interface. First I need to type here user. So the user is that user object ID. So I can populate that data and show user. Then they have something. No, I don't need anything more. Then the amount, how much amount he transferred to another account. So that's not something like user, that is from. And here I need to type the to, from to, and PID, there is a number, amount is also a number. Then anything more I need to store here. Okay, type is received. That can be two type. One is received, another one is sent. Received and another one is sent. The two types. Then I don't need anything more, so let me create a schema for MongoDB. New schema. You need to ensure that schema is import from Mongos. Okay, I use interface as generic. So transfer history. So here I need to type from. So the from type is schema dot types dot object id, then required that is true, then reference that is user. Great. So I just simply copy that and paste here. That is true. Then there have the PID, that is the number. Then there have a amount, that is also a number. They have a type, and the type is a enum type. First of all, that is a string, and second thing, that is a enum. Received, then there is the another one is sent. Yes, everything is correct. I need another thing, that is a timestamp, so I can get created at and updated at time. So I just enable timestamp is true. I want that timestamp. Then constant transfer history model, then model. Here I need to type the model name is transfer history, and then the schema is the schema, and then that is exported. Okay, perfect. So here I need to make the schema or the model is ready. So here I need to make something different, like I just need to create the API for sending the amount or the balance, and I need to create another API for getting the history. Okay, so first of all, create the send API. So I just create here another file, that is send fb. Fb is that internal currency ts. Now I create a function that is okay. Let me just create a function, constant send fb, then async, there's a async function. Then I take a parameter as rec means request, that is express, then res means response, that is come from express. Anything more? No, I don't need anything more. Okay, now here I use a try catch. Now the catch is something like if error instead of error, then you just need to send a response to the client, and the response is something like formatted response sent. Here I need to type the status number, that is bad request, and then the message come from error dot message, and then data is empty array. Then I simply return that, and I need to export that fb, export fb. Okay, then here I start a session await mongoose dot start session, and then I will start a transaction, session dot start transaction. I guess you are familiar with that. So here I just commit that transaction, session dot commit transaction, and session dot end transaction. Then I will send a response to the client, formatted response send, that is transfer internal transfer successful. Then the data, that is the okay, I did a mistake. First of all, I need to type the status code, then the message, and then the data. Data is currently empty because we don't have any data, or we don't did any internal query. So of course I don't have any data. However, so if there have any error, then we need to abort the transaction. So I just abort the transaction here, session dot abort transaction, then await session dot commit transaction. Well, that's what I need to do. Now here I need to do the query or something similar. So here I need to did the operation. So first of all, there have something like decode JWT. So that send me the user information such as user ID, username, user underscore ID, that is the unique ID on the database mongoose, so that will be stored on the rec.user, as you can see here. So I need to get that. So I am not making I am not extend that rec user, or that is not a familiar or anything. So if I try to get that rec.user, then you can see they have error. So I just simply need to make that rec is equal, rec means request is equal, or is equal any. So here I am not getting any error now. So what I need to do, I need to make a variable that is constant user that equal auth user. So now you can see the issue is fixed here. So I need to do a console log so I can understand the issue, so I can understand is there have any issue or something else. However, so what I need to do, I made a console log, so I need to append that on that routes, so I can call that from the client. So here I simply go on the bit session.route.ts. So you can see they have a bunch of routes already. So here I make another routes, or I can create a dedicated another router for wallet or sending or internal transfer. So I just simply copy that file and paste here, and then I rename that file at first. That is something like transfer or internal routes. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so next thing I need to change that variable, that is internal route. Okay, that's enough. Then what I need to do, I need to clear that L import. So I need to clear that all import. Then you can see there I have something like create, that is a post request. That is not something like create, that is send, and that first of all I need to authenticate the token, JWT token. Then I will transfer here that function send empty. Now I need to use that internal routes on our main routes. So that is something like this. So I just simply paste there internal route, and that is something like, there is not any gate route, so that is use. Then internal routes, so what is this? That is something like just internal. Okay, internal, nothing more. So I need to use that. So for using that, on the client side we are used Redux toolkit. So here I create something like another endpoint. So the endpoint is something like, I need to change that auction to internal endpoint. Okay, then I clear L query, then I clear all query here. I simply delete that. Then I need to change that variable, that is auction to internal. Great. So next thing I need to clear that all import. Then that is not create, that is send fb, send token. Okay, send token, nothing more, send token. Then the URL is, first part is the internal, and second part is send, and that is also a post request, and that take argument from body. Now we need to export that. So here I simply export that. Okay, then what I need to do, use send token mutation. So I will create a tag for this. So the tag is something like internal. Okay, internal, that is a tag. So I will use that tag here, internal. Then I can use that where I will use that on send.tsx. Now here I simply use that constant. I simply use that here, that is the data. No, that's give me a array, and array first part is the mutation, and second part is data, then is fetching or is loading. So how can I call it? I just need to call that by calling mutation, and here I just pass that e or that argument. So that PID is required. Without PID you will be drawn, you can, without PID you cannot go on the next step. And also amount required. So now what I need to do, I need to check what kind of data I'm getting from the client side. Okay, you can see they have something like heavy loading. I don't know what is that loading. If I type the PID and the amount and click send, you can see they have a request that is that's give me the message like internal transfer successful. And if I open the console log, you can see I am getting the user information such as username, TG ID, or the PID, or the from ID, this kind of something. So what I need to do, I just need to, you can see here they have something like bit token. So first of all I need to do a query for checking is that underscore id is exist on our server. First thing we need to check. So for checking that I just need to do a query that is user, then I will wait a bit, then call user model, because they have something like user model dot find by id, that is auth user dot underscore id dot session. I pass that session. First thing, if that user dot underscore id is not exist, then that means the user is not exist on the server. So we can say user not found, or simply token is invalid. Okay, what token? What is the token? There is authentication token is invalid. Okay, the next step, we will take some argument from the body. So I just need to get the body is equal rec dot body, rec means request dot body. So I want to see, or I want to do a console log about the body, so I can watch what kind of data I'm getting from the body. So you can see now if I click send, you can say I am getting PID and amount. So I need to check, first of all I need to check is that PID is valid. So for checking that, so I just make another variable that is true, and await user model dot find one, that is tgid, and body dot pay id, and then I pass that as session. Okay, then I made another condition, and that is something if 2 is not exist, then throw a error, and the error, okay, then throw a error, and the error is pay id is invalid. Okay, nothing more. Then what I need to do, I need to validate that user type here a amount, but we need to check that is that amount exist on the user account. So for checking that, I can do a typecast, I guess. Yeah, I can copy that object and convert it to an interface. Okay, then I just need to go back here, and that is the body interface. I don't need to export that. That is body. Okay, so here I use that as body interface. I don't need to do any console log. So the next step is if user dot bit token is less than body dot amount, then less than or equal, I guess they have a type issue, something like number. Okay, then throw you what kind of message I can send on the client. You don't have enough point or the bit token. You don't have enough token for transfer. Check out your balance. Okay, so you can see here I have done everything. So if user not have the enough point, then he will be get a error, and if user have the point, then we need to ensure that transfer, that transaction is successful. So for ensuring that, first of all, what I need to do, I need to cut the balance from the user who want to send that token. So what I need to do, first of all, the user want to transfer the token, so I just call user.bit token, then minus and equal, then body dot amount. So the amount is not a number, so I need to convert that as number. Then I will wait a bit, then call user model dot save, not user model, user dot save, then station. Then here I create a transfer history dot create, and the history is something like, first of all, 2 is that user dot underscore id and then from, what is that from type? From is also object id. From is the to is the true, and from is me or the user square id. Then amount is come from body dot amount. Then the pid is come from also body dot pid. Then type is send. Then I pass here that session. Okay, now I need to ensure that body have the pid and the amount. So if body dot pid is not exist, then throw error, pid not found. Then again, if body then amount is not exist, then throw another error, enter correct amount. Okay, then we are cut token from the user who want to make the transaction. Then we need to add the token to user, so the token will be added on the account. That is, I know that is too much confusing, but I will try to my best for explaining. To dot bit token, then plus number, then body dot amount, then await to dot save, and here I pass the session. Okay, now I will create another history. Now here I will create another history. So the to is this user, and from is this user, right? Then there is the amount, then there is the pid, and this time there is type is sent, not type is received. Okay, so what I need to do, basically, how can I understand for which user I made that? Basically, if I want to show that on this user who want to make that transaction, so in his user history, that should be sent, and who are going to receive that token on his user this user history, I need to ensure that history should be received. So how can I understand? Both our data should be same, but they have a different thing is that received. So I need to make another identifier, so I can understand what kind of thing I need to what kind of data I need to fetch. So I need to add here another field that should be identifier, and that is the types dot object id. Okay, identifier. Okay, now here I need to type the identifier, and then the identifier is for this who going to send that user want to send that. So identifier is he, and here who is that want to receive. So for this, the identifier is the to user. Okay, I just need to copy that. Okay, now if we made that request again from the client, then you can see the difference. If I send that is pending, and I guess that is rejected because the server is shut down. So I just need to turn on the server, and yeah, that is running. Okay, yeah, running. So if I just send that, you can see again something like failed. So the issue is cannot call commit transaction after calling abort transaction. What the hell? Return, nothing more, just return. Is I'm doing any wrong here? Yes, no, I'm not doing any wrong, but why that error is come here? Okay, let's just started. I want to send, the PID is random, amount is random, then send, that is pending, and they have an error, and the error is cannot call commit transaction after calling abort transaction. Okay, so I guess they have any mistake, and that's why the error is here. So I understand where I did the wrong. You can see I abort the transaction, then I commit the transaction. Here I need to end that session. My bad. So you can say that is again restarting. So once it's restart successful, then I just need to send that request. You can see this time PID is invalid. So the PID is invalid, we are getting the message, but the message is not arrive on the skin. So I need to show the invalid PID that message to that skin. How can I do that? So for doing this, first of all, what I need to do, first of all, of course we need to ensure that user should understand there have a request that is already sent on the server. So we need to also do some work with that is loading. So how can we do that? So first step, that is a relative, yeah. Then here I make is loading, then a div. So I want that is absolute, then jet index is 50, then from then what I need to do, then I want to show here a progress bar or a loading skin, loading. So I just search a loading, but my internet connection is very bad. Oh, so I just chose I just chose a random spanner here and use it, paste it here. Now you can see if I click send, you can see that is here. So what I need to do, first of all, I need to ensure that that width is full, and of course of that is relative. Then flex center, justify center, item center. You can see that is on center, so I just make the height is also full. Now the backdrop blur is SM, and I add a background color BG black, opacity 10. It's not looking good at all. I just cut it, and this time they have something like some slider. So I just what I need to do, so that should be the fixed. Now this time that is good, or no, that's not good. Not good at all. Okay, let's take it on absolute, and that is loading. Okay, now let me see, is it working or not? Suppose if I type any PID, then amount, and then send, you can see that is loading. And that request is also pending. Now once the request is resolved, then the loading also hide. Now they have something like PID is invalid. So how can I want to show a toast message here. So how can I do that? So I need to use a use effect, and yeah, here I use status as dependency. So I need to import the status for use it as dependency. So status. Okay, then the next step, I need to use a switch case, something like the key is status, value is pending. I don't need the pending. Full FIELD fields, I guess the spelling is wrong, so take the correct spelling, something like fulfilled. Okay, fulfilled. Then here I want if the request status is fulfilled, then go on data, then something like status. If the data.status is 400, that means they are having error. So I need to show the error on the toast.dismiss. First of all, I need to clear lp-base toast, then I want to make a new toast. That toast is type is error. Then they have something like a message, so I need to show that on message. So something like data, then they have the message. Then I want to add some option like a class name. The class name is font. First of all, the font is texture, then font size, font is style is medium or weight is medium, then text size is extra small. So I just copy that and paste here. Okay, then if that is something else like then that is transfer is successful. So the condition is something like if the status is not equal 400, then the transaction is successful. So I need to show a success message. Okay, now the next case is something like rejected. If that is rejected, then show the same style message here. Okay, or the message should be something went wrong. Okay, then I need to show here some dependency. Show here some dependency like this. Okay, great. Now if I send the request here once again, I mistake something like uppercase. I need to ensure that all message text are uppercase. that is the condition. Okay, you can see PID is invalid. Great. So if I want to send that something like my one PID, copy, received, then I change that PID and send here. You can see that is loading and you don't have enough token for transferring. Please check your balance. So if I want to transfer 10, now you can see this time internet transfer successful, but there I transferred that to my one account. So that's my account, but that is not logical. I cannot send my my one account by doing this kind of transfer. So what I need to do, I need to add here a condition. So the condition is something like if auth user dot tgid is equal body dot pid, then throw error, you cannot send to you cannot send token to your one account. Okay, now if I send that once again, you can see that is something went wrong. I guess they have any issue, yeah, in a internet issue that is rejected in npm run dev. Okay, I restart the server and I guess this time that should be resolved. Okay, restarting, yeah, restarted. Now if I send that request, you can see that is loading, and I'm waiting, man, do it more faster. Okay, that is loading, internal transfer successful. Why, man? That should be okay. I need to do a console log or something else, like I can do that after here. Okay, if tgid not auth user, if the user dot tgid, that is number. Okay, I'll convert that into a number, tgid, and body.pid is same, then throw error. Okay, let me send that once again. You can see this time that's loading, and you cannot send token to your one account. Yeah, I'm success. I can make the changes. Okay, then I need to ensure that the history should be here. Or if I just refresh here, you can see they have transfer histories, and I have opened that is loading, and they have 4 data. One is sent, receive, sent, received. Okay, they have identifier, yeah, everything is perfect. So what I need to do, I just need to get all okay, if I make a valid transaction, like I want to send that to any other user, then I need to refresh that balance, right? So how can I do that? I am using here something like React toolkit, and they have invalidate tag. So I need to ensure that when I am made that send request, and when that is resolved, I also need to invalidate that balance. Request get query data. I need to invalidate that. So how can I do that? So first of all, I need to ensure that from where or what kind of request this is making. That is shop, and in this shop here I am see they have something like use get shop item query, that is a request. So use get shop item. Okay, so in this internal query here I need to invalidate that shop. So I just take a user from that user. Okay, refresh it, find, you can see they have a lot of user. So I just simply copy that and then paste that user ID, and I have 18 FB token. You can see here if I send the request, there is send, internal transfer successful, and I am not seeing any query like a shop query. If I refresh it, you can see there is loading, point table is loading, and you can see this time oh my goodness. Okay, I have 28 FB, and I have invalid that shop item. So I need to add something like, okay, if I just send, and here I just copy that paste.pid, and I want to send here 10 FB to any other account and send it. You can see this time they have a send request and they have a get request, and the get request will call that, and this time the balance is decreased here. Now there is 18. Okay, so the error is resolved. Now if I want to make the receive if I want to make the send transaction to my one account, so that is not successful at all. However, so what I need to do, I just simply want to check the history. So I want the history. That's it. How can I get that? So I need to make another API. So why can I can make that here? Okay, just copy that, paste here, and then that is the history, user history, user transfer history. Great. I just copy that and paste here this one, and nothing more. I don't need that interface, and I don't need this kind of anything. Cut. Okay, cut each and everything. Okay, now I need to do a query like constant query. There is a variable, and I wait a bit, then transfer history model, then find. I want to find L. I want to find all. Then there I have the identifier. The identifier is auth user dot underscore ID. And then the session is session. Well, so I need to pass that to the client query internal transfer history. Okay, so now I need to use that. There is routes and internal routes. Okay, now I need to use that here. Then there is something like history. I just copy this one, and there is a get request, or the method is get. Now what I need to do, did I need to create another page? Yeah, for creating another page, that should be best idea for doing this kind of operation. So here I will create another pages. Okay, I cut everything, and here I create another page, that is history.tsx, and I generate a boilerplate, and here I use that API. Okay, I need to define that API on the Redux toolkit, and here I make a query, that is history of transfer, and internal, that is internal history, and that is a get request. Body is nothing, I don't need any argument, and there have a mutation is query. Great, I don't need that, or if I want I can take it. So I use that as provide tag, then history of transfer, I simply export it. Okay, copy and paste. Then I just need to use that here, and they don't have any argument, and they have object ID data status, then is fetching. Okay, so I want to check is there have any data. Before checking, I need to ensure that I am calling that page. So what I need to do, I just make something like a page here on the routes, that is the history, and that is the history element. So where is the shop? So I just go on the shop, and in this shop you can see there have something like what is that? There are something like history, yeah, this one. So I need to call that. First of all, I will call the link. First of all, I call the link, and here I need to pass the two. The two is something like history. Okay, now if I click on that history, you can see that is the page, and they have something like a history API, and in this API they have something like send received, a lot of data. Okay, so what I need to do, I just go on the page, and here I design a simple thing, or a simple history page. So let me design that at first. So here, as you can see, I have designed that history page, and that bit is simple and looking good. So what I need to do for checking that feature, I just delete all previous document or data, so I can check is that working perfectly or no. So I just refresh it, and you can see that is loading, and there don't have any history. So I will go on the shop, and I have 18 FB, and I take a user from the user list or database. You can see that is a user, that is username is backup, and his bit token is 148. I just copy his PID, and I will send him 10 token. So I just send him. You can see internal transfer successful. If I go on the history, I can see I just now sent 10 FP. Now if I refresh here, that bit token should be 158, and you can see that user bit token is 158, and that user can see that is something like as received. So that user, if user bows here, he can see that is as received. Okay, so we are successfully made that feature, so user can do the internal transaction through the mini app. So if they have any condition like you need 1000 bit token for withdraw or converting to a token, then user have multiple account, like one account have 100 token, that user have 10 accounts, so they can combine the L token, they can combine the all token and withdraw their money. That is something similar like that. I guess that is pretty simple feature. You are understand very well, and if you are really that video is helpful for you, then please make sure you subscribe the channel. Thank you and bye bye. And one more thing, if you are interested to create a mini app that have your dream feature, like you want to create something like that and you have a unique business model, then you can contact me on my Telegram that you can see on this video, and also that my Telegram account is on this video description box. Check it out. Thank you.